membership program for $200. And with that, not only do you get our hat, but you get a beautiful jacket that represents the first-class operation here at HF and the first-class kids that we have going to the school. And we want to extend, we're going to see you go. I'm going to see you go. You've been one heck of a principal and a fine man, and you'll never be forgotten as far as I'm concerned, and with many of the people here. But we're going to ask you to be a lifetime booster and member, and to show our appreciation for all of the work that you've done. And for the guys that know when it's football time, or it's baseball time, or it's soccer time, and it's raining, sleeting, and snowing, he's out there supporting you. We want to say thank you for the many years that you've given us, and we wish you Godspeed and good luck and good health for the rest of your life as you enjoy your retirement.
No doubt that I'm a lifetime Viking, and to all of you I say thank you and for the best of luck. There are no goodbyes, but we'll just see you later. Thanks.
Next, we'd like to recognize our boys volleyball team, our head coach, Miss Kathy McKinnon.
Opportunity at this time to introduce our assistant coaches. First of all, our JV coach is Taryn Ha. Our varsity assistant is Jim Webster. This year our record was 12-12. We were 7-3 in conference and finished tied for second. Unfortunately, we have no trophies to offer you, Mr. Smith, but this year the IHSA voted to next year start recognition of boys volleyball as a sport in the state of Illinois. Our JV record was 9-8. Also, this year they divided our conference into two sub-conferences. We were called SICA East and West. We had two members of our varsity team nominated onto that all-conference team. First of all, on defense, we had sophomore Troy Herring. Also, the third highest vote getter for all around was Bill White. Our most improved player saw a little court time last year. He was not put into the starting rotation until the 6th game of the season, when he came to both Mr. Webster and myself and said that he would like to do whatever was necessary to be put into a position where he could play all around. He is one of the most coachable athletes that I have ever had the opportunity of coaching. I've been doing volleyball for 11 years now. He had an 85% hitting percentage, which means that 85% of the time when he was set, his hits went over the net, down in a position that was either a point for us or unable to be returned. He's a silent leader when needed. He was a person who really did whatever was needed for the team when the team needed him. It's Matt Bedard. Our most valuable player is the smartest player that I've had the opportunity to coach. He could play any position when called upon and probably would have gladly played if he had to. Had a 92% serving percentage, scored 67 of our 399 points total. He had a 98% blocking percentage, which means that when he went up at the net, 98% of the time, the block went down on the opponent's side, giving us the advantage, either a point or a side out. He had a 75% hitting percentage. And the only reason that this is in the 70s is because when we were hurting as a team, our setters knew to go ahead and set this player and that he would attempt to get the ball down on the court. He's the third highest vote getter in conference. He was a team leader. At the end of our season, when our team needed someone to pull through and give our team momentum and encouragement, this young man did that. He pulled our team together in a time of need. I also found out that last night he was awarded the 110% award winner for athletics in Homewood Flossmoor High School. Unfortunately, I don't think he's here yet because he was trying out for Prairie State games, but this young man is Bill White.
Overall, but it knocked out 146. For a 2-year program, I don't think that's pretty bad. I think it's actually pretty good. But we're going to start off with the freshmen. Steve Barrett, he's a good defensive player. He was one of the higher points in the servers. I think we'll do very well for next year. Up on so the JV level next year. Ryan Schmidt was pulled up to varsity level for the Donna Stroke Invitational and for the Niles. He was the top scorer in conference with 75 points, and overall scores, he's made 87 points.
Good job.
Jason Scott at our first practice on a drill. Jason, up here? Is he here? Our first practice required Jason to make a dive at the end of the drill, and what he wound up with stitches in his chin. So he got his nickname Stitch, but I don't think he's here right now. At our first game, we lost to Sandburg, and I told JV level they need to fight on the bus ride home. Oh, no. They didn't know what the definition was for quiet, so I told them when they got off the bus, they need to look up the definition for quiet. Sam turned his definition in for quiet at the last game on the bus ride home. So Sam was the only one that did his homework. Come on, Sam. Very good in the front row. He has those birds down. He should be a great asset for the team next year. Come on down. Starting with the sophomores, Eric Albrecht worked very hard to earn his spot on the team. And with his setter, Jim Jaskis, the two of them as a team could not get anything out. Eric got those He also tied with 87 points for total service points, and he had 55 for conference points. He also filled in as a setter for us when we needed him. Another setter of ours, but I moved him away from setter and put him into the front row, hitter, and he filled that position, and next year he should be pretty good job on the varsity level. Good defensive player. I think he'll excel at varsity level next year. He really helped us out with that row. Eric's team, Jaskis. And when I moved Jack to hitter, he became the setter. And the team of Eric and Jim will be an awesome team next year. Oak Invitational. I think he'll have an injury-free season next year and do well on varsity level.
This year we had a 12-12 record overall. We were 7-3 in conference. We tied with Andrew High School for second place. This year, there was enough interest in boys volleyball in the South Suburban area or Sitka area that they divided our conference, that was one conference last year, into two 10 or 5-team conferences, or 5-team conferences, 2 of them this year. We were called Sitka East and West. The teams in our conference were Andrew, Lockport, Lincoln Way, ourselves, TF North, and Eisenhower. We finished up with a 7-3 record, and we were second place in conference, having 1 loss to Andrew and losing both times to Lincoln Way High School. Next year, just for your own interest, will be the first year that JV will be comprised of kids who have had volleyball experience in the junior high level. Volleyball was a new sport last year. This is the second year of the sport in this particular high school. Next year, it will be the first year that it's recognized by the IHSA. In case you're not familiar with recognition by the IHSA, for instance, field hockey is not recognized because there isn't enough percentage of member high schools involved in that particular sport. Volleyball has increased by almost 500% in the past 3 years. They're expecting well over 100 participant schools to be involved in volleyball next year on the boys level. We won our first playoff game against Aurora Christian. We lost our second playoff game to Wheaton Central, which beat Lincoln Way and went to what we would call the Sweet 16 in state. Our end of our season was very interesting. We experienced a lot of adversity, but I think that adversity caused our team to pull together and really push forward and realize that this is a varsity sport. This is a sport that's going to be highly competitive in Homewood Flossmoor's history. And the reason that team pulled together, I think a lot, is because of the seniors involved in it. Of the seniors that were on the varsity team, 3 of them have participated in other programs, other athletic programs. And I think that their involvement in those other programs gave them the interest and the dedication of an athlete to a team concept. And that helped us go beyond some of our setbacks and really pull together. I'd like to recognize the players on the team. First of all, none of our managers are here, but we had the good fortune of having 4 young ladies who were involved in the girls program being managers of the boys program. Now, I'm not sure of what their motives were initially in being involved in the boys program, but in the long run, they proved to be a huge asset. They knew how to do stats. They knew, for the most part, what coaching of volleyball was. For guys, volleyball is a very different sport because it's very etiquette-oriented. You can't say 4-letter words on a volleyball court and get away with it. You can in a lot of other boys' sports. There are penalties assessed in boys volleyball or in volleyball for unsportsmanlike conduct, and they do call it very easily. We did not get called for anything unsportsmanlike because of our mouths. This year we did get 2 unsportsmanlike conduct calls against us, but I don't think either one of them were warranted. I think that probably in the years to come, those kinds of penalties will not be assessed to us as a team. I would also like to take this opportunity at this time to recognize our coaches again. If any of you are not aware of this, about a month into the season, I gave birth to twins and sat out for 2 weeks. Going into the season, obviously we knew that I was going to have twins, and so having our assistant coaches being volleyball qualified and into the program and willing to overtake my responsibilities for the couple weeks that I was out was very important to this program. Both Taryn and Jim teach in feeding elementary districts. In fact, between the 3 of us, we cover all the feeder districts into Homewood Flossmoor. I teach at James Hart, Jim teaches at Western Avenue, which is the Flossmoor School District, and Taryn coaches Brookwood Boys.
So we felt that coming into this season, we had pretty good insight into what the volleyball program was going to give us. When I went out on March 28th, I coached the game on the 28th, and I had my twins the 29th. It wasn't like real delivery, so don't worry about it, Mom, but not wonderful. I had a sister, that's why it's not wonderful. But Jim and Taryn took all the coaching responsibilities. It was very nice to know that as I laid in the hospital bed and when I went home to a screaming household, that I didn't have to be worried about the volleyball team. This program is very special to me. I had the very distinct honor of being the first varsity coach. I hope to stick with this program for a lengthy amount of time to see it off the ground and a successful story in HF's athletic history. Having Taryn and Jim as assistant coaches made this season very easy for me. Not easy in the aspect of coaching and winning, but easy in the aspect of knowing that there were volleyball people with an interest in a volleyball program and willing to make HF's program successful. Sometimes a program takes a couple of years to get that way. And freshmen and sophomores and juniors, I hope you're listening, because success isn't always first come. Richards had success because they had guys that were willing to put time and effort into the volleyball program. Oak Lawn had success last year because they had individuals who had played volleyball all year round. HF is going to experience success because we have a number of players who have made their dedication to volleyball known. And whether it's just on the sandlots and the parks in the Homeless Blossomer area or trying out for different teams, you will see in the next couple of years that that success, or that interest and dedication will pay off in Homeless Blossomer success. But thank you, Jim and Taryn. We had the two starting setters, one of the starting setters last year, who is not here. I felt that we needed a third setter in that area, whether or not Phil played setter or not. But I also felt that we needed to build our setting program. The hands on this first individual, and this sounds very strange unless you know volleyball, but a setter's hands are prized possessions. And sometimes when you see a very true setter set, you see the poise and the gracefulness and the accuracy right away in the tryout. And this young man is someone that we saw right away, and that's Brett Bertman. Our next young man is also a sophomore. He was voted all-conference in the defense division. Understand that defense includes serving. The reason he was nominated in that category is because he scored 20% of our points. Granted, he was our first server. In a 6-2 offense, which is what we played, your setter comes out of the back row, and it's ideal to have your setter start in the one position, which is the serving position. That means that for 20% of the time of all of our total points, Troy scored and got us ahead of our opponent. He last year worked as a setter on the JV team. I pulled him up at the end of last year to play defense for us out of the back row. He's a young man that I don't think is done developing his volleyball talents. He went and tried out for Second City, made Second City's team that will work out this summer. And so I'm very excited to see what he's going to offer us next year on the volleyball team. Troy Harris. Volleyball is your other sport, right? And has improved vastly from last year. I think that guys have a different level of when they mature physically. I teach junior high, and so I'm always watching puberty in young ladies and wondering, what am I going to do when my daughters are in junior high? When you see guys, they always seem to come into high school, and if they're going to be 6'6", they're always these 6'6" massive bones. And sometimes they have a real hard time putting the bones together with the rest of the body. Brian has matured into an excellent, excellent volleyball player. We have the good fortune of having him only be a junior. He played middle blocker for us. When he was set, he hit very accurately. He had over an 80% hitting accuracy. But because of the amount of hitting power that we had on our team, Brian was not set as often as many other middle hitters are. But Brian will be a huge asset to our team next year. Neil is not here. Oh, it's a good thing I forgot the shorts. I was going to hold up a pair of shorts. Probably one of the best highlights of our whole season was at the Downers Grove tournament. And we're playing at Wheaton Central, and Neil yells, "Timeout, coach." And I told him I didn't want a timeout. And he told me I had to take a timeout. As it comes off the court, Neil, who constantly yanks his shorts up to here to tuck in his shirt, had ripped out the elastic on his shorts and was literally playing the last 2 points, holding his shorts like this. But I forgot the shorts, and fortunately Neil's not here. Mike Mathis. This is a young man who he's right there. He's a lefty. He tried out for our volleyball team hitting righty because that's the only way everybody plays. Into like our second practice, he says that he's a lefty. I had never heard this happen before, and yet it happened twice in this season. He learned to play lefty, but he made the volleyball team being a righty. Lefties are a huge asset to a volleyball team, like get lefty going. He also tried out for Second City and made the team. He's a person who's put interest and dedication into volleyball, and as a junior, I'm looking very forward to him being here next year. Our last junior is a young man that I think every coach should have one of on their team. I have never seen Michael complain. I haven't seen it. I have only seen Michael not practice once because of a car mishap, right, Dad? And then we went to great extremes, and he went to great extremes to find practice clothes to be out there on the court. Michael, if you had another month of volleyball season, I can't even imagine what level you would be at right now. He's a young man who played JV last year. He has incredible jumping ability. If he would hit the ball and hit the ball as hard, if not harder, than many of the other players on our team. He's a person who's made up his mind that he wants to play volleyball, and once he made up his mind, he improved greatly. Michael Miller. Always at the games, always with his little sister in tow, and always part of the Wave Brigade. There were about 4 or 5 of you, right, that showed up at every girls' game, pulled up their bench right on the borderline of being in the playing area, and watched girls' games intensely. Purdy played sandlot, whatever you call it, volleyball all summer long, pit, and was waiting to see what this young man would bring to our team this spring. Jay came on and hit like a banshee. He's one of the hardest hitters I've ever seen. Outside of hitting, Jay literally had to learn the game of volleyball and all its rules and rotations and everything else. Being a senior, I admire that. You're giving up your spring in your last year of high school to be on an athletic team that you don't even know if you're really going to play for the first time. He worked into our starting rotation, played front row when we got into some adversity towards the end of the season, shifted him to an outside hitter where he played all the way around. learned the position very well and did very well and helped us out a great deal. Jay Myers. These next two young men, I would like to just spend a minute saying that thank you for sticking out 2 years on a volleyball team. It was a new sport for you. You guys were athletes in other sports. You really didn't need to do this in the spring of your senior year. Matt, you went from seeing very little court time last year to literally working your rear end off this year to play all the way around. You are the most coachable person we have seen. When we told you to do something, you did it. We never verbally heard you complain. We saw you get mad at yourself when you knew you did something wrong. Unfortunately, you had a couple of bad games, but nobody ever had to say anything to you because you knew you had bad games. When you had great games, people never said anything about it, and they should have. You could hit around a block. You could hit through a block. When we look at you physically, you are not our ideal volleyball player. I don't know if any of you watch volleyball, but volleyball players always seem to be like 6'5" and 6'6" and 180 and 190 pounds, very slim and trim. You're a football player, but you're also a volleyball player. And you're a very good volleyball player, and you were a huge asset to our team. Service to Bill. I work with Bill's mom, and I literally begged Bill to try out for volleyball last year. I needed a big guy in the middle, and being a new program, I needed someone that I knew who was smart, who was dedicated, who had some athletic talent. He has a lot, and would be interested in making volleyball a go at HF. Last year, Bill played just the front row for us. We had 8 seniors on the team, and unfortunately, being a new program, if a senior makes, it's unfortunate, but yet it's very fortunate. Being a senior and making a team in a new program, you want the senior to play. There's nothing worse than having a senior sit on your bench in the spring of their senior year. It's not good for them, it's not good for us, it's not good for the parents and the home life. So you play a senior. Therefore, we don't pick seniors unless we know they're going to play. Unfortunately, Bill had to take the back seat to that last year with 8 seniors on the team. He took that interest in volleyball and tried out, was it Second City that you were on last year? Tried out for Second City, played through the month of June, and learned a great deal more than we could ever coach him last year in volleyball. Last year was a learning year. This year was the start of coaching in volleyball. When it came time for this year to start, his teammates voted him above and beyond any other player to be their captain. And I think that's a lot to say for a player because they know that Bill is someone who knows the game, who can tell them what they're supposed to do and where they're supposed to go on the volleyball court. He is an intelligent person enough to try and learn everybody's position on the court. So that when people have difficulty, he could help them out. And the other players on the team wanted him to help them out. As I said before, he had in the 80% for all of his stats, except for hitting, which was 75, but that's only because when we were struggling as a team, our setters knew to set Bill. And you can only be set so many times when the ball is either going to be blocked at you or you're going to have the misfortune of hitting it out of bounds. He was voted 3rd highest vote getter for all conference. A young man from Lincoln Way and a young man from Andrew were higher vote getters than him by 2 votes. He just tried out for first 8 games and made it. He also was the 110 He also was the 110th for gathering, but honors convocation, which indicates that not only do I think that he's 110% giver in athletics, but so do the other varsity coaches in the HF program. Bill White.
Yeah. Hey, Phil.
I'd like to say that it's really nice to look into this gathering of faces of parents and realize that I see faces that aren't new to me this season, which means that you're a lot of faces that showed up to a great deal of our matches. And the only thing I can do is compare that to my sophomore season with my girls. And when we had our awards in this same room, about the same heat, I didn't recognize a lot of the parents. They weren't, it's not that they couldn't be there, or it's not that they weren't there. I don't know if they could have been there or if they couldn't. But to look out in this crowd and see people's faces that are not new to me when I look up in the stands, and I notice everything. The guys will tell you that if I need to find something out, I can hear about it all the time. I have lots of sources. And to see parental faces of support, and that's very encouraging for us as coaches. And whether or not your sons have a tendency to tell you this, I think it's very encouraging for them. Parents are a huge support system, and when you look up in the stands and they know you had a bad match and you know you had a bad match, it's nice to go home and not have to explain everything. Or if you had a great match, it's nice to go home, even if parents don't say a whole lot, just to pat them on the back or say that was a nice match. You know, and they're going to look at you cross-eyed and think you don't know squat about what you're talking about in volleyball, but to know you were there is just a huge encouragement, and I can feel that. That's great. Cookies and punch.
Coach McKinnon's right. We had a whole lot of adversity this year between twins and injuries at the beginning of the year and absences and stuff. And she handled it real well, and Coach Webster was a big help. And well, we wouldn't have even been 500 without them, and we just got these little things done.
On behalf of the JV, we'd like to present you with the volleyball for token appreciation.
For the guys that weren't here, would you tell them to go to the AD's office?